today's video, I will be mainly discussing authority and how to keep our authority during our sales calls and our sales meetings, specifically as a high-ticket closer. By the end of this video, you will be able to understand and know what are the mistakes that you have been making unknowingly that has been affecting your sales calls and has been positioning you as the one who has the lower authority during the sales call. So let's dive right into it. The first topic that I want to talk about is something that I've already discussed in one of my other videos, and it's about apologizing. So topic number 1, do not apologize. I see that many sales closers make this mistake. However, you're not going to be one of those closers because after today's video, you will stop apologizing. For instance, let's say you are late to a sales call or a sales meeting. When you start the meeting, instead of apologizing and saying you're sorry and lowering your status and your authority, you can simply say, "Hey, John, I appreciate you waiting for me. I was just wrapping up another meeting with one of my new students. He just got started and I'm very, very excited for him. Anyways, I'm glad to see you. Let's dive right into it." That's how simple it is. Do not apologize. And I'm not asking you to be rude, but don't apologize. Instead, just appreciate them waiting for you and appreciate their time. That's all you gotta do. Trust me, that's not gonna make you look like a rude person. That's simply gonna showcase that you're appreciative of their time and you're also making sure that you're gonna go through the meeting with them in the best way possible. That is it. Okay? Number 2. Do not let them cut you off. What does this mean? I'm pretty sure it has happened to many of you that when you're on a sales meeting or on a sales call, the prospect, the lead, the client cuts you off and asks a question. Do not let them do that. And if they do that, simply say, "That's a great question. I will definitely dive right into that. However, I want to make sure that we're covering this section simply because that's something that I need to thoroughly go through with you in a couple of minutes." Sounds fair? That's how simple it is. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you're talking to John and John cuts you off and tells you, "Well, yeah, that makes sense, but how much is the program?" And you don't want to say how much the program is simply because you really don't know that if the program can help them yet. So you got to talk to him more, understand his pain, his goals, and see if it's a good fit. And if it is, then present it to him. So the best thing that you need to do to, number 1, keep your authority, and number 2, help him in the best way possible is to simply say, "John, that is actually a great question. However, we do have different options, and I really need to understand more about you and what is it that you're trying to get to in order for me to see, A, if this is a right fit, and B, if yes, which one of those options is the best fit for you. And once I get to that understanding, I will definitely dive right into that." Sounds fair? And that is it. So please make sure that you don't let your prospect cut you off because that simply just lowers your authority. Number 3, lead the call. You're the one who needs to lead the call. What that means is that from the beginning, when you get started, I'm pretty sure there are many leads that you've seen that they start to lead the call themselves, or they don't let you to continue with your questions or go through the conversation. You need to set the authority from the beginning of the sales meeting or the sales call since the moment you tell them hi. And the way that you do it is that, first of all, number 1, you go through the introduction of your meeting or your call and you say, "Hi." You just talk to them for a couple of seconds. You break the ice, and then you get into the second section of the meeting, which is the agenda. You need to set the agenda of the call, not your prospect. I'm going to give you an example of an agenda. For instance, let's say you're on a Zoom meeting and you're doing a sales call through a Zoom meeting. The way that you do it is very simple. You set the agenda so your prospect will understand what will go through the call and what will the outcome be possibly. So they're aware of what to expect. And at the same time, it showcases that you're the one who's going to lead them through all of that process. For instance, let's say I just joined a sales meeting. This is how I would lead it and set my authority. "Hey, John, nice to see you today. How are you?" So, John, I just want to give you a quick perspective about what to expect from this call. First and foremost, I'll just go through your business. I'll ask a couple of questions to get a better understanding about where you're at right now and also what your goals are, just to make sure that we are aligned here from both ends. And if I see that's the case, then that's amazing. I'll walk you through our program and we'll go from there. If by any chance I see that's not the case, no problem. We'll just shake hands and say goodbye. I'm in virtual hands. Sounds fair? That's all you gotta do. Set the expectation, and it's okay for them to know you want to sell a program. Of course, Some closers do not do that, and that's up to you. It also really depends on your offer, if it's a B2B offer or B2C offer. However, that's generally how you need to set the agenda. Sounds fair? I'm pretty sure some of you are asking, but she made a joke in the agenda. That's okay. Crack a joke. Enjoy the conversation. Making a joke does not make you lose your authority. All it does is that it shows you're a human being. And if the person you're speaking with is a human being too, they'll just laugh if you're making a good joke, by the way. That is it. Number 4, don't be afraid to cut them off. Let's say you're speaking to your lead and you're trying to understand what is going on in their business right now or in their life right now, their current situation that they're in right now. And they start talking and they go on for minutes. Do you really think you're the one who's taking the lead in that call? Of course not. It's them, because they're the ones who are sharing everything they want to share with you, and you're just sitting there listening. Perhaps you're taking notes, but what good does it do to anyone? You're not able to help them, and they're also just talking and not able to identify their problems and their pain. Your job as a closer is to need to be brave enough to cut them off, not to be rude, but just to make sure you guys are staying on point. I will give you an example right now. Let's say I am on the same sales meeting with John, and I've asked him to tell me a little bit about what's going on right now. And he starts by telling me that he's working a 9-to-5 job and he's tired of it, and he's tried many ways to quit and make money from other avenues to basically be able to make more money and get tired less, but he hasn't. And then he starts talking to me about his ex-girlfriend, how she treated him, what happened, then what happened to his mom, and then what's going to happen next month when it's his birthday. And he's worried for all the trauma that this has been causing for him. Guys, of course I'm going to cut him off. I will say something in the lines of, hey, John, don't mean to cut you off here. You did say something that actually drew my attention. What was it about the tiredness? You told me that the 9-to-5 job has been making you very tired, and you're looking for a job that not only helps you make more money, but also doesn't make you feel tired. Walk me through that a little bit more. And let's say he again continues to go through another avenue after giving you a response for a second or two. All you got to say is that, hey, John, I just want to make sure that you and I both don't forget the reason why we're on this call right now. So if you can just tell me a little bit more about blah, 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 and that's it. Crack a joke. Again, that's not going to make you have less authority. What's going to make you lose your authority is the fact that you're not cutting them off and you're letting them lead the call. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to trust me on this. You letting your client or lead to talk without you leading the conversation is not going to make you look like a good closer or be a good person. All is going to happen is that you're going to be the one who's doing a disservice to them and to the sales industry, to the company you're working for, and also to your pocket, aka your commissions, simply because you're not brave enough and not professional enough, respectfully, to cut them off. So cut them off and be there to help them, okay? Number 5. This is the last one, definitely not the least one, and that's mindset. Mindset is a topic that is overtold and underexplained. And since the day I started my job as a high-ticket closer, I promised myself that if one day I want to help people to learn closing in a better way, I will be speaking with them about mindset way more than I have been spoken to, simply because it really affects your entire emotions. Yes, your mindset affects your emotions. And as you know, sales is emotional. I know that your buyers buy emotionally, not logically. But trust me, your emotions are also involved. Your mindset can also affect your body and your physics, and it can affect you physically. So if you are not in the right state mentally, physically, and emotionally, simply because of your mindset, you're not going to be able to close as many deals as you want, and it's really going to hurt your pocket. Now, why am I talking about mindset in a video that it's all about authority? Because your mindset does affect the way you come off on your sales meetings and your sales calls. And also, it affects your authority. You need to understand that you are your client and your lead's professional advisor, counselor, and you are there to help them, to guide them. You do not need them. They are the ones who need you. Of course, for the fact that you're helping them, you receive the commission. But just because you're going to earn your commission through that same sales call, that does not mean that you should not control the call. In fact, you're the one who needs to control the call. And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you want to be checked by a doctor for your knee, and you're telling your doctor how bad your knee hurts. Your doctor is going to ask you questions. You're not going to cut him off or cut her off. You're going to listen. You're going to respond. You're going to be polite. You're not going to be late. If you're late, you're going to apologize. If your doctor says you need to buy this, I need to do this surgery, you're not going to say, you're being so salesy. You're going to be like, sure, just anything that is going to help me, because you know that he's the one who has authority because he's a doctor. You should come off as a doctor. Whenever you're speaking to your leads, think of yourself as a doctor and as them as a patient. Not that they're sick, no, but they need help just like a patient needs help. And you can advise and help them just like a doctor advises and helps. That's how simple it is. Again, I want to repeat this, my friends. Just because you're earning a commission through that sales meeting or sales call, that does not mean you do not have to lead the call and have the authority. Listen to this carefully. It is thanks to you that they're going to have the opportunity to possibly change their life, to possibly change their business, to possibly help their family, to possibly get into the program, to possibly get into the network you are in. It's all thanks to you that they are going to make that change in their lives. Sales is change, and you're helping them to make that change. And it's thanks to you. And you should remember that every time you want to go on a sales call, it is going to be thanks to you that they succeed. And that doesn't mean that you need to be egotistic. No, it just means that you need to have the right mindset and know that it's going to be thanks to you that they're going to win. Now, here's the plot twist. If you don't do your job correctly, if you don't lead the call, if you don't keep your authority, if you do not have the right mindset every day, you're going to be the reason why that they're not making that change, because you did not do your job well as a closer and you made a person not be able to make that change. That is tough. So please have the right mindset and right attitude, and I promise you it's going to help you a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope this helps. Please, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment sections. I'll make sure that I respond to them through either replying or by short videos on YouTube. I know authority is a topic that many sales closers are concerned with. I'll try my best to speak about it more and more, but I really hope this video helps, and I hope that it can change the way you think about sales, the way you look at it, and the way that you represent yourselves on the sales calls. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.